What up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the AJXO X&O's podcast. Max and Nick here with you, and we are what week we in? 10? We just finished week 10. We're in the week 11.
Yes, sir.
Hard to believe we're already there.
Oh, I know, man.
It's been an emotional roller coaster, I think, for a lot of fans this season. When you have crazy weeks where Miami's just happens to, beat the Ravens on a Thursday night, or Washington Redskins. Oh, wait, they're not the Redskins anymore.
The football team.
The football team beats the shit. No, not really beats the shit, but they beat up on Brady and the Buccaneers. So, it's been pretty wild. So, what's been just as shitty as some of these games and upsets, there isn't really much of a segment for the parlays bit me, because they did bite me. But I'm doing terrible at pick'ems this year, except for my what I'm doing on the comeback here. I know I lost last week, but now I won this week based on points. But other than that, my pick'ems have been pretty shitty just on the money that I've been betting. But yeah, because of that Detroit-Pittsburgh tie, we on Monday night's game, it came down to the points. You picked 51, I picked 48. So I won that one. And now we are, I got it over here.
I think we're even, right? We're
4-5. I'm 4-5 because last week you got me.
Okay. 5-4.
So I'm 4.
Yeah, hanging on to the narrow lead here.
So you got to do pumpkin beer.
Yes, I have to find one. So keep your eyes peeled on TikTok. The only ones I found were in bottles, so I didn't want to have to snorkel one.
Do they have I don't know if they have them in cans.
They might, dude. I might be able to find one in New York State. I'm gonna regret every second of this too. By the way, it's gonna be terrible. But
let's see here. And now, well, it's Thanksgiving next week. I'm trying to think what beer will be done for next week. Do they have like a Thanksgiving beer at all? Is there like a seasonal one for that? Really, pumpkin just kind of blends in, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You're the beer fucking whisperer, I feel like.
There's not really a lot of options, you know what I mean?
There's not a ton.
I mean, there's different varieties of beers, but
well, we're definitely after next week. Well, like 2 more weeks. I mean, obviously Christmas Day. I've already been trying to fucking do the research. Remember I said last week I want to get some Christmas ale or 12 dogs out here. I'm trying to figure out how to do that because I'm not sure how. Hopefully you can make that happen. Because I don't know if I'm sure there's Christmas beer out here somewhere, but shit, dude. I should have thought about this. I don't know why. Because I know that this is beer that is easy to get, and I know I have it and I like it. We'll just go with Modelo Especial. Keep it simple though.
Okay. We'll do it for Mexican Christmas then, I guess.
Yep. So that will be next week's beer for whoever loses and pick'ems this week.
I haven't had a Modelo in forever, man. So I mean, I'm not going to intentionally lose just to drink Modelo, but I haven't had one in a while. Just playing it
out. Let's see here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get into some between the tweets because, you noticed I was actively sending a fuck ton of, I don't even know. I would just see something and I would send it to our Twitter at AJXO pod. And just so I could share it.
Yeah, you were kind of like that. You were kind of like that dog that doesn't know what to bark at, and he just barks at everything with the tweets, dude. Like you're fucking going ham. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, it started on Wednesday, and then it just through the week kind of went through. I saw this, I thought it was interesting, right? Because we all talk about referees and calls and how much they can control the outcomes of games, and if they do, I mean, this is obviously an interesting stat from if you're a Browns fan, I guess, but you can kind of see here in the graph Go bigger.
Well, look what teams are down there, man.
I mean,
it's crazy. But how much more the Browns are affected by it than anybody else? But still,
shocker. Steelers at the very top. Look at that. That's how they win most of their games.
The Patriots are plus in penalties. Weird.
Oh,
do you think this is more coaching related, or what do you think?
I mean, dude, well, let's look at some of this other shit that we got going on here. And let's kind of debate. Honestly, dude, I get like if you're a conspiracy guy on things, like sometimes it's interesting to look at some of that stuff. And every week we've been pulling up shit that's like, how'd they call that? You know what I mean? So we got a few here actually. So, dude, it makes you wonder. I mean, you look at this, roughing the passer, boom. I mean, like, why do you call that? You know? We got another one that I shared. Oh, for the record, since that's Lamar Jackson, look at these. Did you see this? His last 3 games. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, you don't really hear much about it though. And God, like I said, dude, there's been some games where they should have definitely lost this season. So I don't know if the Ravens are as. I mean, they're going to be good. They're going to be competing for a playoff spot, but I'm not as scared of them as I was like the last 2 years. I feel like.
If you were to blank out the name and say over the last 3 games, and you put Baker, Josh Allen, Derek Carr, you know what I mean? Like if you throw any of those names in there, people be like, well, holy shit, like that's not great. I think the one thing that does make up for that lack of passing production for Lamar is the fact that he's such a threat running the football.
Yeah,
that true. I think people forgive, that stat line to, really compensate for the fact that he can, run the football. Now, I did see a tweet. I did see a tweet that I was going to send, but I forgot to. It had to deal with quarterbacks who are accounting for percentage of their offense.
Oh, he's probably
Josh Allen is number 1. He's accounting for almost 80% of the Bills' offensive production this year, and Lamar is number 2.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, that's not really that surprising, I guess, for everything that they do.
Yeah.
Here was what I was talking about with so that was called targeting, right? And targeting in its own right is just, and college football is a whole nother animal because the way they I've been calling that targeting with the last couple of years, but whether it's roughing the passer, I mean, or something like that, it basically is just kind of showing you that like, is it like you asked the question, like, why are the teams that are being favorited or, I mean, I'm sure some people are looking into this shit, but like, are games being fixed? Could they possibly be fixed? Like, I mean, with the Raiders player, the week before, I mean, he got fined for that, I think, didn't he? And shit. So, and then if you read like with the referee, because they interviewed him and shit, you read all that, you're like, I mean, referees aren't really held accountable, it doesn't seem like. So, we know it's happened in the NBA before. We've had that, they made a movie on it, and like the guy was hooked in with the mafia, that kind of shit, and or called fouls against superstars they didn't like or whatnot. So to sit there and be naive and think that it doesn't happen would be kind of crazy, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that's more so what's going on potentially than versus like anything else,
Yeah, it's
I mean, I wouldn't. You don't want it to be true because it kind of takes fun out of the game and like what really could happen if it was really being controlled. You know what I mean? But I do feel like football would be the easiest sport to control something like that. Because like in baseball, I mean, you have to fucking still hit the ball and do shit. You know what I mean? But in football, I mean, there's so much shit going on. Yeah, I mean,
Well, in
you could
football,
essentially call it holding on every fucking play if you really wanted
well,
to.
the rule book has too much, too many things that could be just so ambiguous, right? Like you can just have, like you said, holding on every play, or defensive pass interference can almost get called like at will. Like, yeah, there's and plus there's like so many rules in the NFL rule book that it makes it hard, or makes it easy to be able to call anything you want and kind of dictate things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's you don't want to think about it in that regard, but at the same time, like I can see how people could draw that conclusion, especially now with some of the legal gambling deals that the NFLs are signed for sports betting and things like that. So it would not shock me, but I think the NFL needs to do a better job, at least from an optics standpoint, of publicly holding referees accountable for things, because they'll publicly say this is the right call, and then you got to hear from some NFL insider or some reporter that says privately the NFL officiating is said, oh yeah, hey, we got these calls wrong, but they never will publicly state anything. You know what I mean? So that kind of gives a bad image,
Yeah.
in a sense. So like you want to, if you're gonna do it, I think the NBA does something very similar, and it makes it kind of an accountability factor. They do like the final 2 minute report, where they'll like put calls that happened in the final 2 minutes of a game, and they'll say these calls were wrong, these calls were right, whatever, and they'll actually hold the referees accountable. Something like
Mhm.
that, if the NFL adopted it, I think would be interesting. Now, what happens with it, it's not going to change the outcome of the games, obviously, but it at least shows some sort of accountability. Assuming that hey, we're going to have to, well, maybe we'll demote you to a different position or whatever if
Yeah.
you're consistently incorrect. So, it's a kind of a public accountability thing. At least it puts the optics out there for the
Yeah, yeah,
NFL
and
if
I
they do
also
that.
did hear that I don't know how true this is either, but I also did hear that a lot of the refs that they have now are fairly new. Like I guess a lot of the really good ones don't ref anymore, so that could be something that change, because you got to think like it wasn't that long ago they just did it like the new. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. I can't remember what year, but remember when the referees were kind of like on strike or whatever, because like the NFL wanted them to be strictly NFL employees, where a lot of these guys were like doctors or lawyers. They had other jobs, and then during football season they would just ref, right? Well, now it's like you're an NFL ref, and that's like it. That's how I took
Well,
it anyway.
they still have full-time jobs. This is still a part-time gig for them.
Is it?
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know. We just got, I mean, that could be a thing too. So hopefully it gets cleaned up. And then with this one in particular, for college, like, I mean, think about it, dude. Like, this is probably, I don't know, like at what point in the game this was, but it's a big sack, right? As a D tackle, right? You get a sack in a big game. You're trying to celebrate, and then it goes from that and having a big loss. I mean, maybe it was going to be fourth down, maybe it was a big stop, and they call targeting, and this kid gets ejected from the game. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so stupid at the college level. They gotta fucking get that fixed next year, I feel like.
So they need to do what the NFL kind of how they walked back the peel back block rule, right?
Yeah.
So there was that personal foul blocking rule that they brought to light in 2019, and I distinctly remember the Bills getting fucked over in the playoff game against Houston on just a shitty call with that. And so they put they call it the spirit of the rule, right? Like the spirit of the rule is to literally prevent a dude peeling back, running towards his own goal line at full speed and blindsiding a player. A minor, if the offensive lineman like is pass blocking and his guy crashes inside and the quarterback breaks contain, and you kind of take a couple steps and like bump into a guy, like that's not warning an unsportsmanlike penalty or an
Yeah.
unnecessary roughness penalty. Like that's compared to some of the hits that these guys take. Like, so I think targeting could use a little bit of that. Like in that case, like okay, maybe it's a personal foul penalty, but not a targeting penalty. You know what I mean? Like distinguish
Right.
the two. Now, a guy that's like lowering his head, using his body as a weapon, and knock somebody unconscious, that would be more of a targeting. But they should be able to differentiate. Hey, this is unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah.
Versus, or unnecessary roughness versus a targeting penalty. So.
No, I agree with that. Hopefully that gets fixed. And also in the NFL, like that, it is kind of absurd, right? Like if you fucking have pass interference, like if you're on like, I don't know, the opponent's 40-yard line, you'd throw a bomb and like it's a pass interference on the 5-yard line, they get it right there. Like I think that's kind of dumb too. So there's always some things they can fucking tweak. This is what I was talking about before we started rolling. I did send it. I think I did. So as so much fuckery there was, like we've been talking about each week. This is just for the 2 weeks back to back. Carolina, Miami, Minnesota, Washington, coming in 500 or below win percentage, defeated a team that began the week in the first place or tied for first. That's pretty fucking crazy.
That is wild.
And then there's been 8 of those wins in the past 2 weeks. That's the most in weeks 9 to 10 since 1970. That's pretty fucking crazy. I don't know. First comment. What am I supposed to do with this information? That's kind of funny. Just because, I say it all the time. It's like a broken record. We come on here. I'm like, well, that week was wild, and again, it's easy to forget what happened year to year with football season. But like, I don't remember pick'ems ever being this fucking hard or getting that many games wrong.
There's no shoo-ins.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking crazy.
If there's any season that will tell people the NFL is a week-to-week league, it's a matchup-based league. This season you could definitely point to the season and be like, see, that's how it is in the NFL. Yep. It's true. That is how it is in the NFL. So,
yeah, dude, so I'm gonna try and keep that. And I mean, I don't know if it's gonna stop or not. I mean, going into the pick'ems, I try because I feel like there's normally a bias in teams that are picked as well. Like I try to limit that, especially when I'm betting. So hopefully this week I can get rid of some of that bias just based on like the current play. But some of these teams like the Browns, which the last couple of things I need to share here are fucking Browns related. So we'll get that out of the way really quick. But a lot of teams are inconsistent right now. Browns being one of them. So I got some stats here that I sent that I found were interesting. And that's when you were like, are you going to go into Browns rant? Not really, even though they got their fucking ass beat. And there's a reason why I'm not going to go crazy like I did before they came back and beat Cincinnati. This one's kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's like we could probably find some other teams with similar stats, maybe. But I feel like teams like the Chiefs and shit are outrushed all the time. You know what I mean? So supposedly Baker Mayfield, out of his 14 games, or he started 14 games in which the Browns were outrushed by 50 yards, and they're 0-14 in all those games, and they average losses by 17 points. To me, this tells me, which I've kind of has been my problem that I've been preaching, because we always talk up the run game with Cleveland, and Nick Chubb's great, Kareem Hunt's great. This is the problem. It's like when that's not there, and this could be play calling too. I do think there's a play calling issue right now. But like no one's scared of like our passing game. You know what I mean? Like if you stop the run, or if you're down like they were to the Patriots, it's like, is anybody scared of what you're gonna do passing wise? Because the Browns just can't fucking pass the ball very well. They don't take a lot of fucking shots downfield. It's not how the system's built on offense. It's a run first offense, and I think that's the problem that we're kind of getting into right now with the Baker Mayfield stuff. And I've been kind of preaching about it, and I'm being a little bit more critical. Which one's this? Okay, so this is since Baker basically has been injured with the shoulder injury, right? So since then, 7 games, because he got injured in week 2. He tried to make that tackle off the interception. They're 3-4, 61.4 of his passes were completed. 8 TDs, 2 interceptions. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but I don't know. Sometimes, like
22 times, bro.
Right.
Sacked 22 times is insane.
But here's the thing. Like, I'm not putting that all on the offensive line. They literally have one of the best offensive lines of football. We know that. Or they wouldn't be able to run the ball as well. So you just think they can't pass block either. Like, I think there's more to it than that because they don't even pass the ball that much. I think a lot of times, well, Baker does think he's more athletic than he is sometimes. But I thought that was interesting. And then what else we got? Browns are 14-20 under Baker when he has to throw 30 plus times in the game. Not great. It's almost like his sweet spot is only throwing the ball like low 20s, 20 times. But I don't know. It seems pretty negative, I guess you could say, when we're talking the Browns. But I mean, we talked about it with the 5th-year option. I mean, Josh Allen's got his, right? Deservingly so.
That plus is a contract extension, which is pretty large.
And then we got Lamar. He hasn't signed anything yet, but I mean, Lamar's going to get his as well.
Yeah.
You look at that draft class, and like, I understand Baker Mayfield's injured, but even being a Browns fan, I would love for Baker Mayfield to be the guy. I am a little nervous of giving him that money. You know what I mean? The Browns, and we when we did last week's episode, OBJ hasn't went anywhere yet. Now he's with the Rams, and the Browns use that money to tighten up and shore up some of those linemen up front, right? Which kind of tells you what they value, which is good. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, and you tell me what you would do. Like, I don't think I would give the extension yet. This was supposed to be the year that Baker was kind of playing for it. But you're seeing, dude, he's pretty fucking banged up, and he's gonna play this week. And man, you lose to the fucking Detroit Lions, just side the Pittsburgh Steelers. Injuries or not, man, I don't know if I don't know. That's not gonna be good. Just try. It's gonna be fucking Browns Twitter will fucking blow up if they fucking drop one to the Lions. And Baker, if Baker has a bad game, you know what I mean, despite being injured and everything. But we also, Browns fans, hear me out. Here, I'm gonna exit out of this screen share so everybody can see the fucking our shit here. Get that off my screen. It's gonna record. Did you see that pop up?
No, nothing popped up.
Oh, you can't see it. I lost my train of thought now. What I was going to say with Baker Mayfield. I think a lot of the hate that he gets also is because he was number 1 overall pick, right? Fair enough. However, Browns fans have to understand, like, Dorsey's the one that drafted Baker Mayfield, right? Yes, he's turned the Browns around to make them more relevant. This is year 4. And I just wouldn't be surprised if, whether it's next year, if it's not next year. And let me tell you, like, I've brought this up, like, let's say a Deshaun Watson shit, like, just he pays those girls off or whatever happens, you know what I mean? I don't be surprised if the Browns are a team that are willing to give up 1st-round picks to go get with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. There's going to be a handful of teams that are going to try, and Deshaun Watson's probably going to want to go to a team that's already at least has talent on it that can win games, which the Browns clearly can do. Chubb's locked in. They're going to have him, and like I said, they got the offensive line. But don't be surprised if they're a team that would go out and try and get Watson. I mean, why wouldn't you? If the legal things are if everything. I mean, we haven't heard shit, so I'm assuming that he hasn't been arrested. So we'll see when the time comes. But I do think they're going to start looking at other options. You know what I mean? I don't think they pay him the money, honestly. And if they do, I don't think it's a ton. But like, look around, like just in the last few years. I mean, who are some other quarterbacks that had a similar thing with what Baker's going through right now? Marcus Mariota. Who else? Tannehill in Miami. Now he was able to resurrect his career when you go into the Titans. So it makes you wonder, man. It makes you wonder because, like, and also I'll bridge the gap here. I was going to do this. I mean, we can start getting NFL talk anyway, since that was kind of the end of the tweets. The Patriots game. It sucked watching it, but what blew my mind more was like, okay, remember I said this when we started getting into before week 1, I was like, hey, the Patriots, I think, are going to be one of the most improved teams because a lot of their a lot of their defensive players were out for COVID last year. So they had a really bad year, right? They probably hurting with bodies. Going into the season, you think Cam Newton's going to be fucking playing. And here comes fucking Mac Jones, who, doesn't seem to make a ton of mistakes. And last week looked like a fucking, Browns made him look like a fucking all-star. He's just ripping us apart. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's take on him was like his, not that strong of an arm, kind of similar to Brady, that kind of thing. But the kid looks like he's got command of that fucking offense. They ran the ball. They were really physical in that game. They were kind of beating us up. They were Stevenson. Who was that running back they have?
Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah,
I mean, God, dude, he was looking like a fucking monster too. And here's the thing, like, besides Jarvis Landry, the Browns don't really have big name receivers. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even tell you a receiver on the Patriots, and they were just balling. You know what I mean? They don't have a lot of big superstars in that team, but like they're cooking right now. Defense looks good, and their offense looks good. So, I mean, Baker in year 4 with a similar offense, again, I understand the injuries, but if you're going to play injured like that, I mean, what are you going to do? At this point, I kind of feel like Case Keenum being healthy, you might as well just fucking throw him out there, because like I think you're going to hurt the team. Because let's be honest, I still don't think this is the reason why I wasn't too upset. I said it last week, even or the week before, like, even though they beat Cincinnati like they did, which they look like a completely different team, I still don't think they're a playoff team. They're gonna. I mean, we'll see what happens. If they lose to Detroit, it's definitely over. But Ravens bye week, Ravens, Raiders, Green Bay and Christmas Day in Green Bay. I don't know about that one. Steelers and Cincy. Like, you're gonna have to win like a lot of those games, right? And just out of 10
beat Detroit, Detroit, split with the Ravens, try to squeak one out. Oh, man, that's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough, dude.
It's gonna be tough this year for that, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't think the Browns are. I don't think they're a playoff team. I know there's some shit. Like, I don't know if you saw it. Myles Garrett, they were kind of giving. I don't know if he was getting shit on Twitter, but like, he came out like during press conference and was like, basically saying it didn't make any fucking in-game adjustments and shit. And it's like, that's a D coordinator problem. You know what I mean? Like, you're not making adjustments in the game. Like, you're getting your ass beat. Like, what do you mean you need to make adjustments? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, yeah, this particular game, there's all blame to go around. And honestly, I brought this up to a buddy of mine before last season, Stefanski. Like, I like him as a leader, as a coach, you know what I mean? His system is a little boring, I'm not going to lie, because it's not the sexy throw it on the field type of thing. But he only called plays for a little bit in Minnesota the year before he came to Cleveland. So like, he's essentially kind of a rookie at calling plays still. So, I kind of think, I understand coaches' egos get hurt if they have to give up play calling duties. They would kind of want to try and do everything, but I think Van Pelt should try and maybe call some plays and see what happens, see if that helps, because it's like, why have an offensive coordinator if he ain't going to fucking call plays and shit? I know they do other things, but I don't know. It's always seemed kind of weird to me, but yeah, I mean, like, going forward, watching these Browns games, I got really low expectations. I'm not going to get too high, too low, because to me, it's just clear after 10 weeks that now do they have the talent to be a playoff team? Absolutely. Just generally speaking, but like, that's why you play the games too. You know what I mean? So whether that's a coaching issue of not being able to get those players to come together and be better, even though has been a lot of inconsistency in the NFL right now, at this point, I don't think they're a playoff team.
It's hard to say, man. It's, they can go on a run. I think the health issue with Baker this year has been probably the biggest downfall for the Browns.
Definitely for sure. Injured. It's unfortunate.
That's an unfortunate reality that you guys are living with this year. And I think that's factored in huge. The offense does seem to click better now that Odell's gone, but I mean, that was a 1 week, thing that we saw, but, kind of basing it off of last year, we saw that a little bit more, and Baker had a great stretch to end the year. So I just think circumstances this year are kind of dictating, what's going on with this team. And it's just unfortunate because, we talked about it before, the timing of where we're at, where the Browns are at in terms of we have to make a decision on what we're going to do with Baker.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is you still have that 5th-year option in the back pocket. You still have franchise tag available, even though that's probably
like the last thing you want to do, right?
Well, for players, the players hate it.
Yeah.
So you have options available, but would have liked to see get a definitive answer on it prior to the end, the conclusion of the season. So but there's still. We still got 8 weeks left, we got or 7 weeks left. We got some games left to play. Teams can go on a losing streak, teams can go on a winning streak, put the Browns in good position. So it's not really over yet.
This is about the time of year where I think the teams that I think go deep in the playoffs or fight for a Super Bowl, this is where they get hot, I think. Right?
You need teams in the next couple of weeks. Yep.
Yeah. And we're going to find out who those are. I'm actually excited about that. I think because I used to think the Rams were a team that were going to be right there, but like they've kind of done these last 2 weeks. They look like dog shit. Stafford's been really fucking up, I feel like, after starting out looking good. I don't know. Obviously, when Kyler Murray comes back with the Cardinals, I think they'll look like a different team. I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything? Is he playing this week?
He practiced today, so we should see him this week. Yep.
So there's that. But yeah, man. And dude, like I mentioned it, and I want to get your thoughts. I kind of talked. Obviously, I did go on. I guess I ended up going on a random I got for the Browns, but like I wanted to bring the Patriots up because like, I was, I didn't watch them play much this year, but seeing what their record was and like seeing them win games still, and then seeing that performance, I'm like, okay, still early, but like, I think they're going to be there. Just they're a well-coached football team. They've always have been. So, being a Bills fan and absolutely despising the Patriots, do the Patriots make you nervous at all?
A little bit, yeah. The improvements on defense are extremely noticeable. Especially from last year, they're playing significantly better on defense. I felt like that's always been the strength of those teams, even in the dynasty, like always excellent defense. And then you have Tom Brady just doing what he does, and you can't take anything away from what he accomplished during that dynasty. And it's kind of reminding me a little bit of that. Like the defense is solid. Their offensive line is unbelievable. They've got a sufficient run game and can really win in the trenches, both offensively and defensively. Bill Belichick is just a defensive genius, and really can scheme up problems for opposing offenses. So, they're really taking that stuff in stride, and they just always have the dogs on defense to make it work. And then again, offensively, Mac Jones isn't like blowing the doors off of teams, like he threw for less than 200 yards against the Browns, but they ran the ball extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive line is a big physical mauling offensive line. Mm-hmm. It causes defensive teams problems,
Yeah. Well, he never really throws for a lot of yards, but like in that particular Browns game, I feel like he kind of he did exactly what Baker's expected to do, right? Make the throws that are needed, like that he made.
Third down throws, man. He made a ton of third down conversions. Mm-hmm. He you put it best. He did a very good job of managing the game in this situation.
What? Tell me, me and another boy we had a conversation about this, and I know you probably fucking are going to agree with this for sure, because they kept showing Mac Jones like throughout the week. You know what I mean? Does he not have like a face you just want to fucking punch? I think he does. I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know what it is, but like it's just like one of those faces where you're like, there's something about this motherfucker, and I just want to punch it. No?
I'm
going to ask you that question again. I'm going to ask you that question again next time the Bills and Patriots play. After that game.
Ask me after the Patriots game. Yep.
And we'll see if you see
ask me after that game. The offense, that answer will be predicated on the result of that game for sure. All right. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's happening. So I'm going to book that, and I don't know when they play next.
You jot that note. You jot that note down. I think it's week 13 is when they first play. So
okay.
Coming up.
Oh, they haven't played yet at all.
No, they haven't played yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's coming then.
Makes the end of the year pretty interesting.
All right. All right. We're gonna come back to that. But yeah.
No, they're a scary team right now, man. And I mean, I feel like a lot of people are going super overboard on them, you know, but they're rounded in a form. They're looking good.
Yeah. I mean, like,
still,
I don't know. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because I'm not saying they're going to go win the Super Bowl, but I'm saying they still look pretty tough. A year removed from like being shitty. You know what I mean?
They weren't terrible, really that terrible last year. I mean, they just kind of, I don't know. They didn't get great quarterback play, and their defense wasn't quite as strong as what it is this year. You bring in Matthew Judon and bring some of the guys back, like Donta Hightower. You bring Kyle Van Noy back in the fold. You know, they hit on a couple corners that are playing great football right now. So it's, you know, that's what their defense is all about, man. Just big, physical, dominate the defensive line. Your linebackers are going to be the hitters, and you're just going to play unique coverages on the back end and try to confuse players. And it works like a charm for the Patriots. So
let me ask you this. Okay. You don't want to, you didn't notice or want to punch Mac Jones in the face yet. Okay. How about this?
Yes,
I know you'd love to punch Nick right in the face. And I want to bring this up because even he was annoying me watching his fucking tweets, his Twitter blow up during this Kansas City game. And the thing that makes me even hate it is the fact that he acts so confident or claims he's confident there that he never worried at all, and how the Chiefs are back and they're fine. And like, I didn't come out of that Raiders game thinking that at all. You know what I mean? I know they won that game. That's fine. But like, who they got? They're playing fucking Dallas this year or this week. And I kind of feel like that. I'm honestly kind of hoping Dallas does blow the fucking brakes off of Kansas City just to see Nick Wright's reaction. So even after watching that game, do you think that they're still going to have issues? I mean, Dallas' defense is still pretty good. So I don't think whatever was broken was fixed yet. I think, I mean, we're going to find out. We'll find out this week. But I think him hyping that up so fucking hard was driving me nuts. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean,
you know what I'm talking about? Did you see it? Did you see his shit?
Yeah, I really got nothing to say about it because like the dude is just clickbait central, bro. Like it's unbelievable.
It sucks. I used to like him.
I get it. I get it, man. Like I get, you know, you're rooting for a quarterback that's been notorious, you know, on a absolute tear as far as record-setting pace, you know, for statistical records. The success is there. You have a Super Bowl. You have multiple deep runs into the playoffs, and plenty of AFC championships to go about there in such a short career. So I understand what the confidence is, you know, but there's no doubt that they are a flawed team, and they're not unbeatable. And you gotta kind of recognize that and just bite the bullet, man. Just, you know, I mean, realize that, you know, hey, we have a good squad. We have a chance to win every single game we play, but you know, we're not perfect. And I think that's where a lot of teams are in the NFL this year.
Yeah. I just feel like in this Dallas game, Dallas's defense is going to have better chances to stop them versus that Kansas City defense stopping Dallas. I understand that Denver did it somehow a week ago, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know where that game's at. Oh, it's in Kansas City, but still, I think they'll be all right.
That'll be a good matchup.
Yeah.
That'll be a good matchup.
Let's see here. Well, I'll talk quick OBJ. I know. So it's funny because, like, you know, a lot of Browns fans thought it was like a win that, like, you know, he had two targets in the game on Monday, and was it Sunday? Yeah, it was Monday night, and one was resulted in an interception. So Browns fans were like, "Oh, look, trying to force OBJ at the ball," but it's like, I mean, dude, he was literally there for like 6 days. So I think we'll see him get more active, you know, over the next couple of weeks. I do think it's interesting though when he because we didn't even hear shit about Woods tearing his ACL until he tore that on Friday in practice. So,
Yep.
When OBJ officially signed, I mean, what a big blow that was to them not having Woods. I think not having Woods makes it a little bit different, even with that move, because at least when Woods was there, with the healthy knee, it was another really good receiver you had to worry about. So now you get OBJ, who's got to learn this offense in there, which kind of bumps him a little bit since Woods isn't there. It's going to be a little bit bigger adjustment, I think, and kind of going to hurt the Rams for a little bit. But it's all
it's going to hurt him in the run game, I think, because Robert Woods is one of the best run blocking wide receivers in the NFL. Okay. There's no doubt about it. So it's going to hurt him in the run game, I think.
Yeah.
From that standpoint too, that's a big loss for the Rams.
Yeah. Stafford's also making some shitty decisions right now too, I feel like, between those interceptions he threw in Tennessee. And then I forgot I got home late because I was training all day Monday. So I didn't get to watch too much of that game. I mean, didn't look like I've been putting it on the minicast, honestly, lately on Monday nights, because usually they've been kind of
notice no active NFL players were on this week.
No what?
Active NFL players were on the Manningcast this week.
Oh,
because the Manningcast curse is a real thing.
Yeah, so they were talking about it. So what's the I don't really know the premise behind the curse though. So they're saying anybody that goes on there as an active player, they lose.
They've lost the following week. The last active player that went on it was Josh Allen, and they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars the week after. It's 9-6.
That's crazy.
Every single active player, their team's lost the following week. So the Manningcast curse is a real thing.
That's hilarious. That's what they were talking about. That's so funny.
I don't know if the Golden State Warriors lost, but I know Steph got hurt. So maybe after Draymond went on and it caused Steph to get hurt. I don't know if they lost or not, but that could be
I didn't know Steph got hurt.
I think Steph did get hurt. I saw something about it today. So.
Oh God, everybody's gonna be staying away now.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to pull it off the air just from the standpoint that the curse is real.
Let's see here. Trying to think what else we got here. We didn't really talk about the Ravens Miami game. I mean, last Thursday, I don't know. I picked the Ravens to win, obviously, but I was telling Nick here before we started, it was funny because one of my pick'ems I do is at work, right? And I haven't won yet this year. Usually I win at least one, or I come pretty close. I've won more than one in years past. But even though I took the Ravens, I told my manager, I'm like, hey, you know what? The way this shit's been going, if Miami wins this, wouldn't even be surprised. And Miami ends up going out there and fucking dominating. So I don't know, dude. It just does not. None of this shit makes sense right now this year still. So
Miami had a fantastic game plan against them. They ran a lot of cover zero, a lot of blitz looks, a lot of kind of limited what Lamar was able to do, both in the pocket and outside the pocket. If it wasn't for a couple questionable roughing the passer calls, I don't even know that Baltimore gets to 10 points in that game. You know what I mean? So yeah. It was just pure domination from Miami. We've seen flashes from Miami this year of that defense being a legit unit. The first half of the Bills game a couple of weeks ago, they shut down that offense almost completely, and then they figured it out and went from there. But that was the thing. I think that was most notable or noticeable in that game was that the Ravens couldn't find an answer.
Yeah,
and that could prove to be a little problematic for them going forward if they see similar looks from other defenses.
Yeah, it does look like I have him in one of my leagues. I'm probably going to end up having to start him this year or this week due to injuries, really. But Bateman seems to be getting in rhythm with him.
Bro, he's getting eight targets, I believe, a game.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to start him this week.
He's been a stud.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can fill some shoes in there. Before we get to pick'ems, we didn't really talk too much college ball. So I put in a bet, and it's kind of a silly bet, but I'm telling you, man, you want to win these bets, you gotta to win money. Yeah, you can bet some shit that's gonna pay you nothing really. But for me personally, I like to put money on shit that's kind of has high, like the payout's a little bigger, but it's risky a little bit because. So I put Baylor to upset Oklahoma, Penn State to beat Michigan, and Purdue to beat Ohio State. And let me tell you, dude, every time I bet against Ohio State, even being an Ohio State fan, they seem to just erupt offensively, and it's great. So I might just have to keep betting against them, like I said. I don't know if they like hear me or something. Penn State almost held on to beat Michigan, close game. I don't know what it was, but that Penn State offense just we're not moving the ball like they were against Ohio State. So that Ohio State Michigan game a week from this Saturday, it's coming up. It's going to be interesting. So you and I could be getting on here after that week and finally losing to that team up north. But we'll see. We got to play the game still. This week, Ohio State has Michigan State. I don't know.
That'd be a good game.
Yeah, we're going to see how that goes. Again, didn't Purdue upset them the week before? Yes. I don't know. Every game's a different situation. So
I think that's why you bet Purdue was you're like, oh shit, we get Purdue like crush top 10 teams.
Yeah. But the Baylor one, Oklahoma, they've been in a few close games this year, and they finally dropped one, and that was a divisional game, I believe, right? But both teams were ranked, and Baylor was just coming off a big win the previous week. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if you've seen either, because you said you didn't get to watch much college ball, but Spencer Rattler got thrown back in there for some reason. I don't know if they pulled. I don't know if there was an injury or if they pulled Caleb Williams or what was going on, but he was back in. I'm not really sure why. So yeah, they get their first loss of the season. I don't know how bad it'll hurt them going forward. I would imagine. I guess it just depends on how these plays out, and then the league.
It depends on
the big.
How timely a loss it is, who it was to. Like, there's a lot of factors that go.
Well, they still got to play. I don't know if they were in the same division, and like who they got to play for the Big 12 championship. So that matters too. So there's a good chance they could be butted out. But these next few weeks are going to be critical in college football to see who makes the playoffs. So we're right there at the end.
Pac-12 action, right? This week. Is it Oregon, Utah?
Let's see here.
Couple top 25 ranked teams.
Oh yeah. Oregon, Oregon, Utah. Michigan State, Ohio State's probably the biggest, because that's number 4 at number 7. But yeah, as I scroll through, I think that's the biggest matchup we got here. Yeah, I don't really see. Oregon, Utah, number 3 and number 23. Oregon's been kind of up and down this year. I mean, they still only have one loss, I think. I would like to see that rematch though between them and Ohio State. That'd be kind of dope. Yeah. So that's all you really got, man. Nothing too exciting. This Nebraska-Wisconsin game will be interesting though, because I'm telling you, dude, Nebraska has been tough as hell. And Wisconsin's been on a win streak. I think they've won like 6 in a row. But I could see Nebraska maybe squeezing that out, So
yeah, they could. Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. Yeah, but other than that, nothing too crazy exciting. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I mentioned it, like some of these SEC teams, Georgia and Bama do it. I mean, Ohio State usually does it early in the year, because at the end of the year they play, they like Michigan, they don't really have any like cupcake games at the end of the schedule. But I mean, Georgia's playing Charleston Southern. It's like, what? Like
the mid-year tune-up games, bro, I guess. I don't know.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. Yeah, but Saban does the same shit when they schedule. Hey, we do got this game though. My voice is squeaked. Akron and Kent State. Akron, Kent State. There's a rival.
Always with solid matching. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Arkansas, Bama play. I mean, that's 2 at 21. I mean, Arkansas, I don't know how they've done since that loss to they got blown out. I forget who that was, because I bet on them and they got their ass whooped. That was like 5 weeks ago. But Bama looks kind of human though, dude. Like they don't look as dominant as they have been in years past, but I mean, they're still going to be right there and probably playing in the SEC championship. So when they play Georgia, it'll be interesting to see those two teams. But there's a good chance that both those go into in the playoff. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen. But with all that, we got some NFL matchups. So I think we should probably get in some pick'ems and see what we got here.
Let's do it. Before we get into pick'ems real quick, let me tell you this story.
I forgot about it. You have stories to drop. I forgot.
This
story. Is this wild? Does this include? I mean, how crazy was being in Baltimore for the game on Thursday?
I mean, people were out, at bars and stuff, but it wasn't really too crazy, to be honest with you. It was, it was cool. It was real fun to be out, like, as a Bills fan, like watching the sad Ravens fans get shit stomped by Miami. I mean, that was kind of enjoyable, but it was pretty cool. Like Baltimore is a unique city. We'll put it that way. So it was a pretty good time. But I'm driving home yesterday, and this will give me time to actually get my pick'em sheet ready to go here. I'm driving home yesterday, and I get Monday night, I get a phone call. St. Pete Police Department in Florida calls me.
What the fuck?
Yeah. The officer that had called me goes, "Hey, this is going to sound really weird. Do you happen to know what your VIN number on your vehicle is?" I said, I'm not sure. I'm driving right now. I can't really check it, whatever. And I'm like skeptical because it came out no caller ID. And I'm like, okay,
right.
I know what's going on. But then I hear the scanners in the background, and like he gave me a badge number and all this shit. So I'm like, okay, I feel a little more comfortable with this now. You know what I mean? So I asked him, I'm like, why do you need my VIN number? Like, what's going on? He goes, a lady here in Florida had her vehicle stolen, and we ran the VIN number on her vehicle, and it came back that you were the registered owner on her vehicle based on the VIN number. I said, well, that's odd, because I definitely am not a registered owner of a 2020 Honda Civic. I have a 2019 Honda Civic. And the guy goes, yeah, so we did a little deep dive into it. The VIN that's on her registration belongs to your vehicle, and I'm assuming the VIN on your registration matches her vehicle. So I look, and sure as shit, the VIN number on my registration is not my VIN number. It is a completely different vehicle's VIN number. Apparently, it was her VIN number. So she gets in contact with me. We proceed to iron out, like, okay, here's what we got to do. But yeah, her vehicle got stolen. They ran all the information and reported her vehicle as stolen, but her tags technically should have been on my vehicle, and I guess vice versa with how it was working. So I was technically driving a vehicle that had tags on it that were associated with a stolen car on Monday. So that was pretty sketchy. Yeah, I was freaking out for a minute, but we got it resolved. I'm getting a brand new license plate. I got to get a temp tag put on my vehicle, and we'll get it fixed. I feel bad for her because her vehicle was stolen, and
that's crazy.
They did finally recover her vehicle. She was letting me know, she's like, they recovered my car. They made an arrest. Life is good, but they're holding her vehicle for evidence purposes. So, but yeah, that was a fun phone call I had to deal with. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how does that even happen? So apparently along the line, paperwork got swapped, and her vehicle got put on my plates and my registration, and vice versa. So otherwise, we would have never even known. If her vehicle didn't get stolen, we would have never even known. And it's just wild. Just a fun conversation to have Monday night, I guess. You know what I mean? Trying to figure that shit out.
Dude, that's fucking wild.
Yeah. Yep. So got it taken care of finally. But what a shit show it was. It was pretty crazy.
Oh my goodness. So that was a dealership fuck up then, right? Technically?
I don't know.
Like, how does that even happen to begin with?
Could have been the BMV as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple different things it could have been, but wow, what a crazy thing. So talked to a few different detectives and things, and made sure my plates still didn't show up in the database of stolen plates because I had to drive to work the last couple of days, and yeah, it's been enjoyable. That's kind of the risk. But now I'm gonna get a temp tag, be fine. I can drive on it until December, and I should have new plates by then, so we should be good to go.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And that's why you were on the work trip. So you were in Baltimore.
No, dude, I had just gotten back.
Oh.
Literally, I was back in time for that. But yeah, that was fucking cluster, dude. I'm glad it's over with. Glad it all got resolved. But what a what a fucking crazy situation, dude.
God damn.
Moral of the story. If you get a registration, check your VIN numbers, dude.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Especially if you get a new car. You never know.
That's fucking wild.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't there something else you were gonna say too? I thought there was another one.
Oh yeah. So this was kind of cool. My high school baseball coach messages me last week and goes, "Hey, I'm writing a book, and I just finished the book, and there's a big piece of it in the book about our state championship run in high school." So he goes, "I need to send some release forms to you. I want to use a team photo in the book, and I got to have approval from you." She's like, "Well, yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah." So I just got the paperwork and signed it. So that way he can use our high school team photo for our state championship team in the book that he wrote. So I'm like, "Hey, send me a copy of it if you get a second, because I kind of want to read it." But
that's crazy.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm just like, "Oh, that's sweet." My old high school baseball coach wrote a book, and I'm gonna be in it. So it's a pretty cool thing.
That's pretty wild. You went to a tiny ass high school, didn't you?
Oh yeah, real tiny.
How many kids?
So I graduated with 55.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was gonna be more than that, but that's fucking insane.
Yep.
Holy shit. 55. That's like, I have more fucking employees at my restaurant than you fucking have in your graduating class.
Then I graduated, right?
Oh my God, that's crazy. Getting into these pick'ems. Let's see here. We got New England, Atlanta? Is that Thursday night? Speaking of the Patriots.
Sir. Yep.
Speaking of them, all right. Well, how you feeling about that one? Where are you gonna go? Is New England going to continue their streak?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so too.
I went New England for sure. I think they continue the streak.
I think there's going to be a little bit. I think there's going to be more physical than Atlanta. Colts versus your Buffalo Bills, dude. It's a good game.
Indy, bro.
Oh,
why are you even asking?
I know. Well, I gotta take Buffalo. I gotta take Buffalo.
It's the tradition.
Even though that's going to be a tough game, I think it should be if the Colts can get their shit together.
Listen, it's just like the Masters. It's a tradition, unlike any other. Pick against the Bills.
Ravens, Bears.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I think so.
The Bears this week.
I mean, Justin Fields is definitely improving, I think, but until Nagy's out of there, I just don't think. I don't think it's going to be great the rest of the year. Detroit versus the Browns.
I'm going to go Cleveland. In a bounce back game, assuming Nick Chubb plays. Telling you, Nick Chubb's the catalyst, bro.
There's
the catalyst to that the success. And if he plays, I think he is. If I'm not mistaken.
They haven't said, but
listen, I'm positive vibes into the universe that he plays, because I have him on so many fantasy teams that I need him to fucking play.
I am the same way as well, actually. I just don't know which Browns team's going to show up, dude. I don't know if it's going to be the Cincy one. I don't know if it's going to be New England one. I don't know if it's going to be the fucking. They're so goddamn inconsistent. And I really hope they don't lose Detroit, but I'm going to pick Detroit for the same reason that you pick against the Bills. So I'm picking against Cleveland this week. And I listen.
Picking to get some fires them up a little bit and get some down.
I hope.
I got it.
I mean, the same thing. I'm betting against, Ohio State. Like I'm hoping that they come out and actually fucking listen. You can't lose this one. You just can't, right?
No, absolutely not. Right.
Like you're fucked. Like good luck, Cleveland. Like it'd be a shit show. But I'm going with Detroit because the Browns need to win this one, especially at fucking home. Texans versus the Titans.
I'm going to go Tennessee this week.
Yeah, I think so too. There's not even much to say about it. Texans are just, I don't know. What's that?
Terrible.
Green Bay versus the Vikings. Vikings coming off a big win last week, eh? Could they be?
Yeah, I'm still going to go Green Bay.
I am too. I just think with Aaron Rodgers there, they're tough. Defense is good. Oh, what a shit show this game is. Miami versus the Jets.
I think Miami rolls on, man.
No, I agree. I think they do too. Especially against Joe Flacco, because I think he got the start for the Jets. I'm pretty sure they announced. Saints versus Philly.
Man, I had a tough time picking this one because I think this could be close, but I'm going to roll with New Orleans.
Philly's kind of been on a roll the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Philly. But yeah, that one's a tough one. I think it's kind of like a toss-up. I'm not really sure. Washington versus Carolina. They said PJ Watt. Dude, it sounds like they might be close to starting fucking camp. It's week 2 off the streets.
I'm going to go Carolina. Washington did lose Chase Young.
Yeah, they did.
And I think that's going to make a difference there. Carolina's defense has actually been playing very well this year.
Yeah, Darnold was the one that was fucking sucking.
Yep.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, dude. I don't know. This one's so tough. Just the way shit's been going in general. I think I'm gonna go Washington. Fuck it.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
All right. There wasn't any. I just fucking picked opposite.
Fuck it.
49ers versus the Jaguars.
I
mean,
how Jacksonville wins this one.
I mean, I don't know. The 49ers team that showed up fucking the other day, it was crazy. I'll take 49ers too.
Yeah. Well, Cincy, Vegas.
Interesting one. I thought the Raiders would have played a little bit better against Kansas City. They always kind of give them a good matchup, but with all the shit that's happening with the Raiders this year, losing Ruggs. By the way, what's he getting? 20 years?
I thought I saw 20 years. Official. Yeah, I didn't see anything official on it, but
maybe that's potentially. So you had that. You had the fucking corner. I mean, they just all this shit. I think Cincinnati. I think Cincy can bounce back.
I picked them as well.
I think they can. Oh, this next game, dude, easily. Cowboys, Chiefs. I'm going Cowboys.
I like this matchup. I think the Cowboys can get it done. I picked Cowboys as well.
I think so too. I'm picking literally all the away teams, which is not a good sign.
Yeah, I got a lot of away marks as well. So,
well, I feel like I don't know.
But Arizona and Seattle, man. Russ didn't look great in his return.
I didn't get to see, so it was pretty bad.
Yeah, he didn't look great. However, I think Kyler, I think plays this week.
And the Cardinals record against Seattle in Seattle, I think is pretty good. Actually, I think it's one of the best to play in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Cardinals. I think they bounce back. Steelers, Chargers.
This one was tough for me, man.
Me too, because the Chargers pissed me off, but I'm still going to roll with them this week because every time I pick them, I feel like they lose.
They might be without Joey Bosa this week.
I mean, it looks like Watt's having issues too, though.
Yeah. So I went Chargers as well. What about the Monday night game with the Giants and Tampa Bay?
Forgot to write that down.
Tampa Bay.
Giants versus Tampa. Tampa's bouncing back.
I think so too.
They're not going to
I think
go
in a
up.
big
They're not
way.
going to get beat by Washington and go out to the fucking Giants.
Yep.
Yeah, I did pick a lot of away teams. That worries me. But fuck it. We got 1, 2, 4 games that are different, I believe. What's the points we're going to do for?
Mine was 45.
We're going 45. Let's see here. I'm going to go. Let's do 39. I don't know why that just popped in my head. Weird number, but fuck it. That's what we got. Points came in handy last week. And let's see if it does it for me this week. See if I can tie this bad boy up.
Forcing me to drink a fucking pumpkin beer.
After that 0-3 start. Yeah, man. Fuck. I was so tired today. I don't know if it feels like it right now. I woke up from a nap and was trying to get fucking moving. Because I basically trained all day on Monday. Didn't sleep much. Trained again. Had worked. We had a buyout yesterday. This fucking mortgage company bought us out for $155,000 because that's what it takes to rent us out for if you want the whole building. And it was a long shift there. But yeah, man, I took this nap and it was great. You know, one of those naps where you just like drool on the pillow. Took one of those.
Oh, so so it was a good one. Okay.
Oh
so
yeah. So it took me a minute to wake up there. But yeah, dude, we're getting there. Getting to the end of the college football season. Still got a lot of NFL left. Holidays are coming up. We got the Thanksgiving next Thursday. And yeah, man. Primetime football season. Fucking love it. Is it getting cold out there yet?
It's almost 70 today.
For real?
Yeah.
No way. Calm bullshit.
It snowed on Monday and it was almost 70 degrees today. So I have no fucking clue what's happening.
Fucking Mother Nature, dude. Bipolar bitch.
Yep.
Can't make up her mind, dude.
Yep, them's the facts.
Fuck. If you want to follow us on the socials, follow us at AJXO Pod on TikTok and Twitter. Personally, you can follow me at Justin_Maxim.
Y'all can follow me at BillsFan53, and that's B1 LLS Fan53. So definitely give us a shout.
And
let us know what y'all want to hear about.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
We're open to conversations about any and everything for the most part.
Yep. And let's
I have to throw in for the most part because who the fuck knows what kind of sick degenerates come up with, topics of conversation. So don't be that guy.
Right.
Or do be that guy. I don't
know. Yeah, man. I'll keep posting some shit over the weekend. Hopefully. And yeah, dude, we'll see what happens, man. I'm still out of it a little bit if you can't tell. But until next week, I promise I'm gonna have more energy. And we'll have some more things to talk NFL. But until then, y'all be sweet. Peace.